Okay, Robert in Texas, thanks for your order on the President George here. It's a really nice radio. The power on this thing is outstanding for just a 40 channel CB. So this is the sideband power of it, and it just really just impresses me every time I hook one of these up. So the alignment isn't very complicated on this, but what happens is generally you're not going to see a full deflection on the SRF, and I do clean up the sideband just a little bit. But these are fantastic. So I mean, these rival and are so much better on the RF spectrum, for RF cleanliness than the 10-meter radials. And I don't care which one you stick in front of it. This one will beat it for the RF spectrum. So in some guys, that's what they really want. And a lot of guys are beyond just a flat out power thing. So if I had only one radio to talk on here for like Citizens Band, I would talk on this. If they made this in a base, they would sell tons of them. And I really wish President would open themselves up to that opportunity to make this sucker a base and put this board in a base cabinet. And the guys that want the extra channels and all that other stuff, well, you can buy something else, but I guarantee people that are just diehard CB and only really care about the 40 channels, they would buy a base and they would run this thing. And I don't, obviously it would depend on how it looked and other factors, but performance-wise, these are one of the better ones ever. So, there's other old radios I have like Grand XLs and stuff like that. I'd rather talk on this just because it's just for what it's offering. So for the guys that are into the nerdy specs like me, I mean, this thing is, and I can't get the 2 pips to level out on this radio, but when I align it, I kind of look at how it comes from the factory and kind of go from there, because they have a different engineering setup in here, which is a little counterproductive. But I mean, this thing's like at least a 30, which is about a 36, and guys running like those HF radios and stuff like that on CB, this is as good as those, if not better than some of the older ones. I'd say this is right on par with a lot of the newer HF rigs and stuff. They're not probably any better than this. So keep that in mind, that you don't have to spend thousands of dollars to get really good performance now on CB radio when it comes to sideband. So that's something really important that I think that these just really shine. So I'm going to do the AM for you. I'm going to make sure your carrier is at about 4 watts and FM about 4 watts. And then I'll adjust your modulation, and then we'll get this one heading your way today. Okay, that's your FM power. So I just set it just a little bit higher just in case, like if it were to deviate a little bit, that it's better than 4 watts by just a point. That's the transmit frequency, so this one is perfect. So that's awesome too. I would much rather, if you would have gave me this radio 20-30 years ago, I would have never talked on anything else, because I didn't care about, in the heydays for me with CB, I didn't give 2 craps about the upper frequencies and stuff or the lower frequencies. I just talked on the and then the low power. I'm actually going to bump that down just a tad bit more. That would be with your RF power at low. I didn't care about the other above and below channel 40, because all the activity in my hometown that I grew up in was on either 14, I think it was 22, 14, 22, 31, and 34. And boy, the CB was just so active back then in the mid 1990s, early 1990s in the town I grew up in. Man, it was so much fun. I'm not saying that a lot of it was really not that I'm very, people that know me know that I'm not really too politically correct. I mean, obviously I'm not going to just sound like a fool and make myself say things to offend people, but my close friends, family, and stuff like that know my personality and who I am, and I like to joke and stuff. So some of that stuff was rather entertaining in those days. But then again, I'm looking at your FM deviation right now. I'm going to set you to 2.1. Oh, it's just a little bit better, and it was a lot of fun back then. So I lost track of what I was talking about, but you know, all the activity again was on those normal channels, so I'm not one to really deviate. Like I said, I got the amateur radio license. If I want to do other stuff, I just use that, and makes it so much more enjoyable. FM, or here's your AM. I'm gonna set it to like 4.1 just so that it's just a little higher, and then low. We're gonna go slightly below 1, just about like that, just for the sake of AM mod. So this is a really clean sounding radio on AM too. So this is what I call just someone that really just enjoys CB, and they're not looking to go out there and act all big and bad on the airwaves and brag and boast about their setup. Just have a nice quality radio, and just be able to enjoy hooking something up, knowing that you're on frequency, and not have to worry about causing really any interference to anyone, which you never will with this radio. It's just an outstanding radio. So that's how that looks. Let me see if I can't. It's about the extent. It's right around 95.96, which is good. That's a real low carrier. If we bump it up a little bit, I don't think you'll ever use it at that low of a carrier setting, but it does have an adjustable RF power for a reason. So okay, here's the high power mod. That's pretty low out of the box. That looks good there. Yep, so that looks good there too. That's why I say it's one of the better looking radios on test equipment too. It's just a really nice radio. So we'll get this off and come back to the power meter. So if you're ever going to use a different mic with the radio, just make sure you go into the menu and switch it to dynamic. If that's what you choose to do. The President mics, I believe, whatever one, if you were to get like a Digi mic or something else, President, I think you can just leave it in EL, but like the KPO mic that I sell is a good mic for this radio. This is sideband, by the way, upper side, 1 2 3 1 2 3 4 5, real clean on the spectrum analyzer, probably one of the cleanest I've ever seen for a modern day radio. And there's the power. It's definitely not missing any power. That's with your RF all the way up. Obviously, if you want to lower it, you can just press that and then lower it down to say level 5. And at level 5, 1 2 3 1 2 3 does quite a bit less, about half. So you don't always need to run the power cranker down. AM, there's our carrier on AM, and there's our modulation, so it's doing good there. And then our PEP here is somewhere in the teens up into the 20s, so it's working really good. And that's pretty much it for you, Robert. So I'm going to get this heading your way today, and I hope you enjoy the nice CB radio here by President 73, and catch you guys later.